Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield. It's Thursday, February 10th, and the All-Star Weekend for the Disc Golf Pro Tour kind of gets us going, a little appetizer for the season. It starts tomorrow, and the draft will be tonight. It'll be aired live on YouTube, on the Disc Golf Pro Tour YouTube, as well as Disc Golf Network. So Josh, it's finally here. We get to watch some disc golf this weekend.
It definitely feels odd because when I was talking to my wife about our weekend plans, and she was like, "Can we do something on Sunday morning?" I don't remember what she asked. I was like, "No, sorry, I've got to watch the All-Stars event in the morning, and we got Super Bowl in the afternoon." It's like it's just a foregone conclusion that I'm spending Sunday watching disc golf. So,
it's going to be a sports day for
it is.
sure.
It definitely is.
So yeah, the draft is at 8:00 tonight Eastern time, and again the All-Star event will be in Tucson, Arizona. We're going to kind of break down the whole event right now as we go through everything. Just quickly on the format stuff. Starting 3:00 Eastern on Friday, the skills competitions will begin. FPO is first at 3. MPO starting at 6:00. Remember, they're doing when the players draft. As they draft the players, they will be asked to select what competition they will do for skills. So, are they going to do putting? Are they going to do accuracy? Are they going to do distance? Those skills will play out. You earn a point for winning your skill against the opposing team. So just, again, basic format stuff. We talked about this earlier, but just to be really clear, there's 12 players in each of FPO and MPO. 2 team captains select teams in a snake draft. That happens tonight. There's 2 6-person teams, and they will compete in skills, doubles, and singles competition with points being earned in each of those categories. So skills are 3:00 and 6:00 Eastern on Friday. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Eastern for the doubles rounds. That will be FPO first, MPO second. And then on Sunday, the singles rounds will take place at 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So that MPO round, it's going to finish right around the Super Bowl time. I think they'll be done because I think the Super Bowl kickoff is at 6:30 Eastern. So that's 4 hours. I sure hope that they hustle and get it done because otherwise people are going to be clicking off.
Well, the tricky part is, even if you do finish up the rounds, I mean, there are plenty of, awards, like the kind of, let's talk about the team of who won, and that's
nobody's going to care about that.
Nobody's going to be watching that. Nobody.
Which is fine. I mean, like, do you really want to watch them hand out trophies to 6 people on the team? I don't know. I don't care.
And that's fair. That's fair. But it's tight.
It's possible the results will be a foregone conclusion.
It's true.
By the time we get up to like Super Bowl time.
It is also match play, which means they probably, I think in most cases, are not going to be finishing the course. So that does help time as well.
Yeah,
they should be able to get it off.
They're doing match stroke play, so they do theoretically have to finish because it's not like skins where you could end early. Like 4-2 or something.
Oh, it is stroke play.
It's stroke play.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like match play, like match play.
If somebody's got a 6-stroke lead going into 17 or something, like you don't necessarily need to wait and see what's going to happen there.
Sure.
Okay, but wait, surprise! Guess what? It's not actually 12 players in MPO and FPO. Wildcard alert! Wildcard alert! Garrett, Gurthie, and Paul Ulibarri are being added on the MPO side as wildcards. And it's not exactly clear why this is happening, but they are going to be involved. And they're going to be involved in the draft. And they're going to add a third competitor to the putting competition in MPO. Now, they're not adding wildcards in FPO. So I don't quite get it, to be honest. Double G being in the distance competition will probably be pretty fun. So that's cool to see. If you're doing the math at home, this does mean that they will have 7 competitors on each team. So how do you do doubles? Well, they're not going to do doubles with Double G and Uli, who I guess would have to be drafted onto different teams. Those two will play in a singles pairing. I to be honest, the information kind of coming out about this event has been very sort of disjointed and slow and difficult to kind of figure out what is going on. So I don't totally know what the plan is going to be. Are they going to play 2 singles rounds? I mean, at some point we're going to find this information out. Perhaps by the time the show comes out, that information will be out. But wild card alert. So I guess it's going to be kind of fun to have more people involved, but I also think this just sort of adds a layer of confusion to an event that already sort of like had a very clear structure.
Yeah, I am really perplexed about this decision. I'm not sure. I mean, like you said, Double G in the distance competition is great, but like I don't know what the inherent value of adding 2 wild cards is, as opposed to just like Uli and Garrett are big names. I mean, it definitely felt a little odd when you looked at the roster and saw that they were off the All-Stars. Just when you look at their notoriety, I guess is probably the best word. But trying to understand how they fit in and the why, I wonder. I'm not exactly sure. It's
well, let me just look at this really quick because there's some level of confusion here. So Garrett Gurthie finished 16th in the Pro Tour standings, and Uli finished 20th. So, I think there's got to be some politics going on here. I think people seeing Gannon Buhr being who finished 21st, it's not exactly like Gannon Buhr would be classified as an all-star. He's brand new to the tour and obviously incredibly, talented young player, but it's kind of confusing as to how like he was able to get to the point where he was involved in this in the first place, because they didn't just do it off straight points. They did it with a combination of, sort of Pro Tour standings, but then also the voting that happened around, the media vote and the fan vote. Even with that, I'm still a little confused because he won Rookie of the Year. Sure. 100%. But I don't know. It's just a little weird that Gannon's in. And maybe there was some frustration from some other pros who are like, why is Gannon Buhr in and I'm not? Especially, if you think about somebody like Uli. I am much more of a name than Gannon Buhr, who finished behind me. Maybe there was some politics there, and now we're sort of shoehorning people into the competition at the last minute. I don't know. It's a little bit of a rocky start for things here on this event for the Pro Tour this year.
You have to think that their decision-making process next year, or the qualification process, is going to be different for that.
Well, the whole letting fans vote for who's going to be player of the year and the way they broke the points down made no sense. It never made sense. And
the consequences, you have the 21st seed in the All-Stars event. But
how? I still don't really understand. Did he pick up? Because it's not like people were going to vote for him for player of the year. I've been thinking about this lately. I'm like, how did Gannon Buhr get into this? But I mean, good for him. I think it's a great opportunity for him to get some exposure. I think he could do really well in this event. It could be like a star turn perhaps, but it still doesn't really make sense in the first place that he got into the competition. So anyway, now we have some wild cards. Josh, does it change your draft theories at all to know that we have an extra player now to consider in the draft? Double G is interesting because of his very plus skill set in a very specific important category.
Right. Like, because putting is now 3, I probably would prioritize drafting Double G and then moving Eagle to the putting competition. But that's still not worth that many points. So I don't know how much it changes my draft if I don't think Double G is going to win singles. Because he can't play doubles.
Well, right. So I guess we don't, as of this moment, we don't know exactly how the double single split is going to work. Like, is it automatically Double G and Uli that don't play in the doubles? Or is it like the bottom pick?
Right.
I don't know that right now.
So maybe that's my answer. Maybe it changes my draft. It depends on how this functions. I think what changes, what I will say though, what changes my drafts probably certainly in FPO is the fact that you have to announce the skills competition as you go.
Yeah, which we didn't know that when we did our draft a couple weeks ago.
No, and I think that changes things a lot. Because
do you like that?
I think I do. I think it makes a really interesting strategy.
It changes the strategy.
Yeah, because I mean, if I draft and I draft 2 for the putting competition, then you could know. But the hardest thing about it is this skills competition is worth so little points.
Right.
It's worth
relative to the
points.
doubles and singles.
Right, because the doubles, you could earn all those points back if you just made ideal doubles teams, and then in singles, the singles are worth we're gonna put the wildcard site 6 points, right? So the singles rounds themselves are worth more than the double, just as much as the doubles and skills competition combined. So I would probably just draft for a singles competition.
Yeah.
And then
I think you basically take best player available at all times, and the tiebreaker is like where you'd put them in the skills competition. I mean, I don't think you want to go down 0-3 in skills because you didn't like plan for it very well. But you're also correct that the scoring setup means that it's much more advantageous to just pick the best overall player at every point in the draft. Mm-hmm. Because if you have better options for, and it's not like you're going to be at a disadvantage in doubles by picking the best players for singles.
Right.
I mean, like theoretically, there's like some gamesmanship about who you pair up, but I think you mostly worry about that after your draft. I think, it's like take best available every pick and then go from there. And, you could be like, well, I don't really have somebody who's a great putter right now, so let me pick a putter here over the other player who I feel is a very similar level. It's kind of it's an interesting category.
I think my game plan going in now that I've kind of heard about it and thought about it more and seen with the whole, you have to announce which category they're going to be in. I think the best strategy is to play for 1 win in the skills competition and 1 win in the doubles competition. And then by just picking best available and then hope and then try and win singles outright and just smoke people.
Yeah, it's just risky. I mean, even a great player, when the caliber of competition is as high as it is at this event, is not a guarantee to win. Like what at best, someone's 60-40 probably to win their singles matchup. I mean, it depends a little bit on the course, which we're going to get to right now. But it is an interesting thing, and there's of course also like the politics of people who are friends with each other in the draft, and like who picks who, and nobody wants to be drafted last. So
does Garrett and Uli have to be drafted last, and then that preserves the politics?
As of this moment, we do not know. I mean, because it's possible they won't even be involved in the draft, right?
That's true. It could just be assigned.
They could just say, well, they're wild cards, so we're just going to tack them onto the teams at the end. That would be extra weird. So I don't think they'll do that, but do they have to be? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And there's no wild cards on the women's side. I don't know why. There's obviously second layers of things going on here. Let's talk about the course.
It's a
temporary course in Tucson. And they just posted the caddy book and the layout. It's Push Ridge, and it is 8,600 feet for MPO, par 57. A lot of par threes, no par fives. It is a 7,800 foot course for FPO, par 60. And looking through the caddy book, Josh, it really does feel like this is pretty Arizona-ish. There's a lot of wide open shots. Of course, you can only tell so much from a caddy book. There's a lot of wide open shots. There's not necessarily a ton of holes that feel like trees are going to be a major factor. And the distances are sort of moderate. There's like some, most of the par threes for the men are around the 350 to 550 range, with many kind of clustered in that mid 300s range, which will be reachable for everybody. A couple of them quite long. And I have to say, not a lot of super interesting looking holes when you look at it on the map.
Yeah, and I mean, hole three is a 280 foot hole, and circle 1 is completely inbounds, and short and right side of circle 2 is inbounds. Like, there's not much OB. I'm sorry, but
I think that's got to be like an ace run hole, right?
It's on an elevated basket though. So maybe,
yeah, you're right.
I get, maybe it is an ace run, right? And fine. But the disc golf,
there's literally no trees involved in this shot.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Stars are about to play a hole that I would expect on my municipal 9-hole course next to my house. 280 feet par 3? That's, I don't know. It's not inspiring.
There's a reason I said on Tuesday's show that this is the way to experience Arizona disc golf.
Yeah.
It's just, there's only so much you can do in landscape like this. And, this hole 3 is not much to see. I found that we both reacted when we were looking at this before the show to hole 18.
Yes. Hole
18, different tee pads for MPO and FPO. It's 910 feet par 4 for the men, and it's an 810 foot par 5 for the women. For the men, there's and we'll put this up on the screen for our YouTube audience. There's a drop zone, there's a mandatory at 535 feet. You got to go left around the Mando. It's a tree, and so it's a dogleg right up to the basket. Mm-hmm. There's OB right in the middle of the fairway, maybe a golf green, it seems like, and there's a sand trap as well, just shy of this mandatory. So initially I was like, oh, this is a very interesting looking hole. This is going to be the most interesting hole in the course. But when I sit and I look at it some more, I have to say, it's hard for me to see people wanting to try to get up past that OB, which is at least 500 feet up the fairway, given that there's trees left, Mando tree right, and OB all along the left side. Are we just going to see everybody just lay this up, Josh?
Yes, and I think if you choose to go for it, it means that you are desperately behind, or you're in doubles where you had a partner who already laid up. And I honestly feel like it is going to be just as much of a game of luck because the only way I see this being even a feasible shot, because if you bail out right short of the Mando but across the OB sand trap or the hazard sand trap, you've pinched yourself off and you can't approach. I mean, you're literally just flicking to play position after, and it's almost a pitch out, which means I think the play is going to be to throw short right side of the hazard sand, and then to pitch a forehand through to get around. And it's really odd to me because the way it looks, and again, this is caddy book. You know, we did this kind of caddy book analysis on disc golf match play, and it ended up being, you know, fairly right, but it's very clear that there are course oddities and features that are really difficult to discern from the caddy book. But looking at it, I don't know what you throw except a crazy flex shot that pulls right and then just crazy dumps through the Mando over the OB, but manages to stay inbounds from the OB left in order to give you a legitimate shot at the birdie. I think I'll give you my prediction. In singles, I don't think you see a single birdie on this hole.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something we're not able to understand, like if it's big downhill, could be big downhill.
Maybe.
It's not clear from the map. If it's big downhill, then maybe you see people try to run it, but it's still like there's like it looks like a tight, relatively difficult gap to hit, and there's OB all on that left side. So right. I don't know. It is an interesting looking hole, and I hope that it, you know, is deceptive and will be a little easier to reach than it looks here. But I mean, it is a par 5 for the women at 810 feet. So there must be an expectation of layups. I think the women will probably get birdies on this hole. Certainly possible. The Mando's at 410 for the women, which again is, you know, that's far. Mm-hmm. That's really far. So, and you know, you can't sweep out wide to the left and like just let it crash down to try to get that distance because the Mando tree. Right. So it's gonna be a very demanding hole. But a lot of the other holes, to be honest, are pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of OB danger around some of the greens with golf greens and sand traps, pretty classic golf course style layout. There is a little bit of water, although it's not a major feature of the course. It's going to be lots of, putting is going to be important. I think that's another thing I come away from looking at the caddy book. We're going to see, it is a little bit long. It's not ultra long course. I mean, obviously the long courses we see these days are 10,500 feet, even up to like 11,000 feet. This is only 8,600. But it also doesn't really have it has no par 5s for the MPO and few par 4s. So in that way, it is actually kind of long. But there's plenty of reachable holes, and it's going to be more about who can get close and cash their putts.
The one consideration that may be worthwhile, Arizona golf can be windy. So hopefully the wind is there. That makes it a little interesting.
And don't forget, Tucson's at altitude.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I forget what altitude. I think Tucson's around like 5,000 feet, maybe 4,000 feet. No, I'm a little high. It's 2,400 feet. I mean, it's still enough to affect the flight of your discs.
Yeah,
but it's not Denver.
Right. If you've been spending your time at sea level, you are going to notice a difference. That'll make it interesting. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like these guys probably they've played altitude. So
maybe we're probably just over analyzing this course. This is not a tour stop. This is an all-star event. I just hope it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I just hope it's entertaining. Because it doesn't seem like it's a tested course, really. This is not Fountain Hills where, love it or hate it, it's hard.
Sure.
It's hard for average players. It may not be that hard for top professionals, but we'll see.
Yeah, but like you said, I hope it sets up for drama. I hope it sets up for entertainment.
And that's, at the end of the day, if it's close, going into the back nine of singles play on Sunday, it's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch players go head to head. It's going to be fun to watch doubles, and we get the intrigue of the draft. So
yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go inside the circle. Stay with us. It's the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Now, I like a smaller bag. I carry a Pound toolbox around the course, but I am getting a little tired of lugging the bag and having to carry it in my hand. Well, good news, small bag lovers, because I have it on good authority that the Rufus, the new smaller bag from Pound, is coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled to Pound Disc Golf's social media to see when you'll be able to get your hands on the new Rufus. I know I will have one. PoundDiscGolf.com. Welcome back to the Upshot. It's time to go inside the circle. Josh, take it away.
Thanks, Charlie. First, inside the circle, really exciting news for Simon Lizotte. His son has been born. Emmett Lizotte is now PDGA player number 201,871. So already in the PDGA player database. Seems like that was one of the first things they did. I've seen all sorts of memes already with like the baby photoshopped holding an FD3. I will say the fact that he's classified as an amateur probably isn't fair to other amateurs, but congratulations to Simon for his new baby.
Crush baby.
That's right.
Yeah, very nice slate of pictures over on Simon Lizotte's Instagram. Just great to see that you forget sometimes that professional disc golfers are also people who want to like have a house and start a family and do those kinds of things. And obviously there's some people who just want to live on the road their whole life, but not everybody is that way. So congrats to him, and wishing the best to him and his family. He'll be taking a little time off at the start of the season. Very understandably so.
And, maybe it gives him time to continue to recover and he comes back in even better form. So good for Simon. It's exciting. Next exciting piece of news, the Oklahoma Christian University is offering disc golf scholarships, with disc golf being a club sport. The coach will be Calvin Ryan, who is a graduate assistant for the university and has long been in the scene. But, they are going to be including this. They're going to be competing with the collegiate tour and the college national championships. And they do have scholarships now to go play disc golf, which I think is an exciting step forward. We've long talked about college disc golf and the potential that it has. And I think these are really important steps that as you watch sports develop, the natural evolution is getting scholarships so that people feel they can use this as an important part of their college career.
You think about it, it could change the approach of young, promising disc golfers. I'm talking more in the general sense. And if you're a 16-year-old and you're a great player and you want to have some job security in your future, maybe you go to college, you get a scholarship, you compete in college disc golf, and you get an education. And maybe, while you're doing that, you're also playing at some events on, the Pro Tour or the Silver Series or something like that. You make a little money, but you kind of develop in college and play in college disc golf while getting a bachelor's degree. That could make a lot of sense for certain players. I think there's always going to be people who just say, why go to college? I can go out and I can play disc golf and I can maybe go get a fat contract and start earning money right now. Totally understandable. But to see the same thing in, the NBA. You have players who are so gifted that they get drafted after 1 year of college, and they know they just want to go straight to the NBA. And other players who maybe just aren't quite that good or need more time to develop or care about getting a degree, and they stay 4 years in college. They go maybe try to win a national championship at March Madness, and then they go to the NBA. So I think there's a path for this. Anyway, back to Oklahoma Christian. This is an interesting school. They are very focused on using sports to do player or like student recruiting. And they actually did the same thing in Ultimate Frisbee, announcing this about 2 years ago that they were going to start doing scholarships. And Josh, you'll be interested to know that they recruited through this process of offering scholarships some extremely talented Ultimate players, including a player from Texas named Kyle Henke, who plays in the American Ultimate Disc League. Great player. And Oklahoma Christian competed at the Division III college championships in December, and they won the tournament. So they went out and they recruited their way to a national championship. Will that happen in disc golf? Hard to say now, but it could be a very good fit for the right kinds of players. I talked to somebody at Oklahoma Christian. They didn't specify how much money would be available in scholarship, but noted that they offer both academic and athletic scholarship money, which can stack on top of one another, and that they're looking to recruit really talented disc golfers to the program. So I think it's a cool step and perhaps a signal of things to come in the future.
Two interesting notes with that. The first, with that NBA analogy, something that's important to note is, being a sponsored player is not mutually exclusive to going to college. Calvin Heimberg demonstrated that. So, you still can continue to do college. And of course, not maybe full-time tour, but you can do a lot, especially because it's during the summer months when you're not in school. And if you have a program that, facilitates athletic events, it becomes even easier. So I think that's a very real possibility. We could see college athletes who are very successful on the pro tour as this expands. And the other thing, we've been talking a lot about coaching infrastructure. What an opportunity if universities start offering disc golf competition.
Oh, yeah.
Retired pros going and coaching at D1 schools, and you can run Alabama's disc golf program. Like Matty O's probably already working on his resume to do that. So definitely opening up opportunities for and natural TDs as well in association with those schools. So I think it's an exciting development.
I am ready for highly competitive college disc golf.
Me too.
I'm ready. I think it's going to be one of the developments of the 2020s, that we go from kind of like it being totally slapdash, hard to really follow, hard to know what's going on. A lot of top schools don't even have a team, to like by the end of this decade, the University of Alabama and the University of North Carolina and Texas and all these big state schools are going to have competitive disc golf teams. I think the sport could start to bloom at that level. I certainly hope it does.
Yeah. Final point or inside the circle, Eagle McMahon is skipping the Texas swing. So if you go to his tour schedule on his Instagram, he announces that after Las Vegas Challenge, he's going to be skipping all the way up to Music City Open. His announcement says that the courses require a lot of forehand shots. I'm currently able to throw backhand with virtually no pain, but still in the process of getting my forehand up to speed. The first 3 events of the year don't require a large number of forehand shots, so I'm confident I will be able to compete at a high level. After the Southwestern stretch, I'm going to use March to further strengthen and rehab at home before the main part of the tour comes around. So, this is his injury from last season, where if you remember, he tried to throw the 360 forehand and ended up injuring his shoulder. And it looks like he's still trying to rehab from that even with the season coming out.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Eagle's always been one to take events off here and there. Remember he skipped Waco last year due to an injury. He's not quite injured enough for it to be like a real big problem, but I'm starting to worry about it a little bit with him. Like, is the torque that he's putting on his arm and his shoulder and his elbow going to be a problem for his durability as a player? He just seems to get dinged up pretty easily, spending lots of time having to skip events for rehab, and like he's still playing enough that like you can forgive him skipping a couple Elite Series events here and there. He's still winning, but obviously if he's limited with the forehand, it really reduces his ceiling as a player, I think, because he just has such an advantage with the power and the ability to move shots left to right with that forehand in a way that other players really cannot. I think it's fair to say he's probably the world's best forehand thrower right now. If he's limited in that way, like I do think that hurts his game. Certainly doesn't make him non-competitive, on courses that are pretty backhand hyzer friendly, he's still going to be a threat to win. I think it wouldn't be crazy at all to pick him to win the Las Vegas Challenge, even with the concept in mind that he doesn't throw a single forehand. But I'm starting to be a little bit worried about the long-term durability. Hope he can get healthy.
And what's important to note, I mean, we've talked a lot about, even last show, we talked about, Ricky and Paul, right? That they're the real conversation right now in terms of the rivalry and the competitiveness in the scene. And I think part of it is due to the fact that Eagle has a hard time staying healthy. We've seen players in countless sports who get excluded from the top echelon of discussion in terms of where they rank in history, in terms of how good they are, due to being injury prone. It's something that in sports can really be a knock on legacy. It can be a knock on your competitiveness. And I really hope that Eagle is able to get past this injury and then create, like you mentioned, that long-term durability in order to continue to play at the level that we know he's capable of.
It makes me think, like, does he need to consider dialing down the power a lot of the time and focusing on other elements of the game to a degree where it's like, not to say that he needs to play like Simon, who's like literally going to be limited probably for the rest of his career because of an injury. But it's hard on the arm to throw 90 mile per hour sidearms. Like, it just is. And it's obviously an incredible gift. And there's probably times you want to reach back and blast a shot as hard as you possibly can. But I also think that, the thing that's holding back Eagle is not the power and the distance. Like, if he dialed back 10, 15% on his power shots, he's still going to outdrive pretty much everybody except like Double G and Drew. And the thing is, like, he's winning on the long courses right now, and he's not winning on the mixed courses as much or the wooded courses as much. And it's not to say that he's like incapable of winning, but his advantages go away. I'd love to see him try to develop that part of his game more, because, to be honest, that's going to be the ticket for him trying to start to win more majors. He's got the one, Konopishte, but if he wants to start getting in the conversation with the Rickies and the Pauls of the world, you got to win more majors. Simple as that.
And I wonder if we're reaching the point, and we've talked about this, if we are discovering the limit to what disc golf courses distances should be. Right? If Eagle cannot sustainably throw as far as he does, then we may have found, this is it, at least for now, because it's just too hard on the athletes. So I'm interested to see how this develops. I'm interested to see how the game continues to develop around distance, and where we decide the limit and the threshold is going to be, if ever. But it's unfortunate that Eagle's injuries are part of the reason and the evidence that are kind of guiding course development.
What worries me, to be honest, the most is that we're coming off the off season and he's still not confident throwing forehands on tour.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, okay, well, like, how much more time is it going to take? I mean, sometimes it just, you got arrested for 6 months. That's definitely part of the game. And it might be that he's at 90% and just doesn't feel like he wants to risk it yet. Right. Yeah, I mean, of course, hoping that he gets back fully healthy. It's pretty joyous to watch him throw forehands.
Yeah. Joyous causes me to cringe inside. My elbow has a pang of pain every time I watch him do it.
He's got the flexibility to just, I mean, he lays that forehand or that forearm back so well. It's amazing to watch.
It is. Well, Charlie, that's it for Inside the Circle today.
All right. Great one. Let's quickly, we're going to bounce back to the All-Star Weekend. We got to obviously do an over-under, and we got to do some picks, but we can't really do traditional picks here because we don't know the teams, and we don't know, who's going to be matched up with who. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our best shot at picking the winner of each of the skills competitions. So Josh, I'll let you pick a category and kick us off.
Okay. I am going to go with a sneaky pick. I'm going to go putting.
Okay.
And I know according to my draft I shouldn't do this, but given the change of what we know about the draft format, I'm going to go putting and an MPO I'm going to say Eagle McMahon.
So interesting. I was just thinking about that while we were talking.
Given that he has to announce that, I think putting himself in putting up front means that, because in terms of distance, I mean, you've got a couple other distance guys available. I think it's smart to give himself the range with the rest of his picks elsewhere. And that putting has 3 now instead of 2. I think it would be smartest for Eagle to put himself in putting. So putting is my Eagle pick.
Eagle gets the dub and putting for MPO. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go with my, I kind of talked about this before, but I'm going to go with Gannon Burr in putting.
Okay.
Who is just a truly elite putter. Mm-hmm. And I think people are going to get a look at that. So looking forward to seeing if he ends up in that competition, how that goes. In FPO, I'm just going to take Heather Young. I mean, there's 2 picks to choose from. I'm going to take Heather Young.
Oh, well, for the excitement factor, I'm taking Owen then. I really do think it's a coin toss, though.
Depends on the format, Josh.
It does.
If everything's from Circle 2, taking Katrina Allen would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take I'm going to assume that we're going to have lots of Circle 1 putts involved in this competition. So
okay, I agree with that.
Okay.
All right, accuracy. Who do you want to start with?
Gosh, I just don't know who's going to be where. I'll go in MPO. I will take. I'm going to take Matty O. This is the weird category where it's like, if you're not a specialist at driving or putting, you end up here.
Yeah. I'm going to take Chris Dickerson.
Yeah, that was my other thought.
I think Dickerson's a bit of a risk, though, because he could get slotted into the putting category.
Sure.
So I may not even have a chance of winning this one by taking Dickerson.
This is warm-up picks. We're getting ready for the season,
That's right. On FPO, though, I want Missy Gannon. Well,
yeah.
Is she going to get put in putting, though?
Yeah.
Revising, I'm actually going to take Sarah Hokum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm a little too nervous about, because there are so few truly excellent FPO putters. I think that Missy's strength as a putter may get her slotted into the putting competition. So
I'm going to take Katrina.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
Ooh, I just sniped you a little bit.
She's going to get put in distance.
Maybe.
There's a couple other long throwers, but with 2 per distance. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. She could.
I think she's going to slot distance.
I think her relative strength is accuracy, even more so than distance. She's a good long thrower, but she's not the longest thrower. I think it just depends on obviously how the teams shake out. That's going to be an important part of this.
Right.
But if you can get Kona and Haley, then maybe you put them in the distance. Anyway,
right.
My pick is in. I can't change it now.
That's all right. So that leaves us with distance. Here's the tricky part. Is Double G allowed to compete in distance?
I assume so.
So we think he can get put anywhere.
I assume so.
I would assume so as well. I'm going to pick Double G.
That makes sense. I'll take Drew.
Okay.
I'll take Drew. Drew feels like a very safe bet. I mean, they both do. If Double G is available, like he's obviously the pick. He won the distance competition at Worlds. The guy has a cannon for an arm. But I'll take Drew. You never know.
Okay. All right. No, that's good.
FPO. Give me Paige. You just lost, so just pick somebody. You can pick at random. It doesn't matter. We can move on.
I'm gonna go. Does Katrina or Haley? I'll go Haley. Let's go Haley.
Okay, I
think Haley can come out and throw something.
All right, so I have an over/under for you.
Okay,
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Somebody will be picked first overall in the draft. Obviously, on both sides.
Yep. Okay.
Take their seeds.
Okay.
Add them together. So the over/under is going to be on the cumulative seeding of both the first overall pick in MPO and FPO.
Okay.
And the number, so remember, the first 2 seeds are doing the picks.
Right, so it'd be a 3.
So 3 is your sort of lowest available number.
So a 6 is picking the top available seed on
that would
both
be the
sides.
lowest possible result. Is a 6.
All right.
The over-under is 8.5.
Okay. So
8.5. So
I'm going to pull up seeding real quick.
read off the top seeds for us.
All right. So available in MPO. Adam Hammes is 3. Kyle Klein 4. Kevin Jones 5. James Conrad 6. Dickerson 7. So Drew 8, Matteo 9, and then Nico 10, Ezra 11, Gannon 12. I think Chris is as low as you go on MPO though.
But
and honestly,
Chris is an interesting option for first overall.
Because he plays full tour, he's probably a 3 or 4 seed.
That's right.
Okay. So Chris
8.5. So obviously you have Adam Hammes. And on the FPO side, you have Missy Gannon at 3, and it's very easy to consider, especially with Paige picking first overall, that Missy gets picked first, and Adam Hammes is, going to be a top player in doubles, a top player in singles, and a tremendous putter. So it's easy to imagine him going first overall.
So if Chris gets picked, it's the over. Mathematically, cannot, because if Chris gets picked, the lowest score is a 10. So
that's right.
If Chris goes first on MPO, it's definitely an over. So the question then is, so on FPO, Missy Gannon 3, Sarah Hokum 4, Haley King 5, Jessica Wee 6, Kona Panis 7, and then Lisa 8, Heather 9, Own 10, Deanne 11, Rebecca 12. I expect Kona's probably the lowest you go on your first pick, but I expect first pick to be either Missy or Haley. I think I like Haley as my pick.
She's a 5.
But with Paige picking first, like you said, Missy is a very realistic first pick to go. So if Haley goes,
that's 5.
Then I have to have Adam Hammes go.
That's right.
I think Kyle is actually a sneaky first pick because Eagle is picking.
Okay.
And I could see Eagle picking Kyle Klein.
No, he won't pick Kyle Klein because Kyle Klein wears his shirt.
That's why he picks Kyle Klein, because then they can wear their shirts together in doubles. Missy and Adam, Haley and Adam are the only 2 combinations that I think are realistic. That I get Missy and Kyle, maybe. I'm going to take the under.
He's going with the under.
I'm going with the under.
I think 8.5 cumulative seed MPO FPO first round pick, first overall. Okay, all right. I like my odds.
I think this is a good line, Charlie. I think this is a really good line.
Somebody could surprise it. There's a lot of options that end up over 8.5.
Yeah,
should be fun.
There are.
Should be fun. All right, so that's our over under for the week. What was our over under last week?
I think we did NFL scores. No, because there wasn't a game last week.
That was 2 weeks ago. We're going to start doing a better job starting today of keeping track of everything. And I'm going to make a spreadsheet or something where we track all of our picks and all of our over-unders, and we're going to make that public so that we can assess and score, and you can look and see how terrible Josh is doing every single week. I mean, it's just embarrassing, just getting dominated.
I hope... okay, question for scoring. 1 point for right pick. Do we get a 5-point bonus if we get an MPO side or an FPO side right?
Well, look, we're going to revise the scoring. All right. We're going to add some wild cards to the last minute. We're going to figure it all out before the start of the season. This is a gravy week. But I do think over-unders start counting this week.
I think they can start before. We'll go back. We'll make sure we've got them all up in the spreadsheet.
All right. We'll go back to January 1st.
Yeah, we'll go back to January 1st. We will have the over-under scores by next week.
The picks only start counting once we have real tournaments.
All right. Are you saying this isn't real, Charlie?
I mean, I'm just saying we don't even know who's going to be on in these competitions. Feels like a randomness.
We don't know how many are going to be in these competitions.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Upshot. Make sure you get up to speed with our subscriber bonus segments. You can become a subscriber for less than $4 a month at discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. not only do you support the Upshot, but you get our bonus segments. You get access to our Ulti-World Disc Golf Discord, where we talk intelligently and enjoyably about what's going on in the sport. Newsletter, exclusive articles. We've got a lot of big plans for 2022, so we hope you'll check that out. And I want to make an announcement today. We are going to start one of our sub bonus segments is going to be a full episode. And it is going to be in the wake of Elite Series events. We're going to do a live rapid react show following the tournament in our Discord. And then it will be put out as well for subscribers as a regular podcast episode. So, you know, when the Las Vegas Challenge wraps up, we're going to have a reaction show that night on Sunday. So the question is, Josh, do you want to try to kick this off with All-Stars this weekend? I know we have the Super Bowl, so we're not going to record during the Super Bowl, but maybe we do something late Sunday or early Monday, rapid reacts to the All-Star Weekend. What do you think?
You know, here's what we've talked about. I mean, interrupting the Super Bowl is just
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
We're not going to do that.
I know we've talked about it on the Discord with our listeners. We are going to do a reaction on the draft, which I think is the exciting part of this format. So make sure to join us there. You know what? Monday morning, let's release. We'll
see. But for sure, we're doing draft reacts.
Yes. So Thursday night, jump on the Discord. It'll be after the draft. Once we have a time, we'll keep you up to date on the official announcement.
Yeah, it will depend a little bit on the draft. I assume the draft won't take much more than 45 minutes or something like that. So probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday.
Yeah, so come jump on, come hang out with us. So before I was ever on the show, Charlie, I have to say I was a subscriber, and my favorite part was the Discord. Without a doubt. I love being a part of the Discord. I think it's an amazing community. If you're not a part of the Discord and you're a subscriber, I think you're missing out on the biggest bang for your buck. Come listen, come hang out with us. It's going to be a great time.
All right. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long. We'll talk to you next week, post All-Star Weekend, right here on The Upshot.